He was speaking there with Marie Mame from, and Joe, can you pronounce the name of the village? Because you do it way better than I do.
Absolutely, Fred, and it's Kaparoko village in Papua New Guinea.
Disaster is part of our life, and recovering is also part of our life.
As you see, they're smiling despite the devastation. That's how we are.
You are listening to Pacific Prepare.
As we mentioned earlier, Pacific Prepared was in Tonga recently, and a lot of the people we spoke with were still thinking about the recent earthquake. It was still very much on their minds.
Yeah, definitely, because it was pretty large. Most people had a story about where they were, what they were doing, and how they felt while it was happening.
Our colleagues from Tonga Broadcasting Commission were out in the local market chatting with people about their experiences.
O whaha peho hingoa mo e wheitu koe au ko ke nofo ai. Pea mo e ho o ngo I koe ni ki he to unga koe no kui ai ai mofu ike koe nai toko hoko koe ni ai nai whitu poi ni taha koe ni nai toko osi koe ape malo.
Ia, malo ko ku hingoa ko patani tukula.
In the interview, Fatai Tugula from Ha'amoko shared that they were asleep when 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit Tonga. They woke up in panic and the siren went on, making them even more frightened. They tried to evacuate, but it took time because of the traffic jam. Fatai Tugula from Ha'amoko mentioned that they evacuated to Mosi Mosi, and she also shared that while sitting inside the vehicle, they were quiet, feeling like they had lost something. They tuned into radio, and when the director of Met said there's no tsunami risk, they felt calm and started to talk to each other. When the tsunami warning was lifted, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief, knowing that my heart and soul were safe. And we thank the Lord, grateful for our deliverance. The earthquake struck at 1:28 a.m. and the siren sounded after 5 a.m. However, we remained awake until daylight and by lunchtime finally managed to fall asleep, sleeping through the most of the day.
Thank you.
Malo, and thanks to Tonga Broadcasting Commission staff member Halafue Koloi for that interview and, of course, translation.
The time to prepare is now, not right before an emergency.
No electricity, nothing whatsoever.
You are listening to Pacific Prepared.
Fred, coming to the end of another episode of Pacific Prepared, and post 200th episode. What a journey.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Pacific Prepared. Yeah, it has been another journey, Joe. We're not face-to-face this week. We have been for the last few weeks now, which has been great.
And we also appreciate your time to you, our listeners, who are listening in right now, and not only in Australia, but right across the Pacific. I'll sign out now, up until next week. Same time, I'll talk to you then. Chosai Rununga here. Nisamode.
Belaka Joe. This show was made on the lands of the peoples of Stony Creek Nation in Lutruwita, Tasmania. Also the people of the Vanua Uviti. Pacific Prepared is supported with funding from the Australian Government's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Any views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the Australian Government. It's produced and distributed in partnership with Radio Australia and networks across the Pacific, including Radio New Zealand Pacific, National Broadcasting Corporation of Papua New Guinea, Palau Wave Radio, Fijian Broadcasting Corporation, Samoa National Radio 2AP, Solomon Islands Broadcasting Corporation, and Tonga Broadcasting Commission. My name's Fred Hooper, and thanks to my co-host in Fiji, Josina Nunga. Please share any information you've learned today, and stay safe. This has been Pacific Prepared.